Welcome to the Women's National League wrap for Series 23. I'm joined with Seana and Alanna this week, and as usual, there's lots to discuss. So we'll jump straight in. We'll start with the historic game, I guess you could call it, Shelbourne versus DLR Waves. Shelbourne coming out 1-0 winners. Alanna, how important was this first TG Carr broadcast for women's football in Ireland?
Yeah, Alice, I don't think it can be stated enough how monumental it actually was, because I was laughing even in our house. Let's say maybe only one person in the house actually was tuning in to specifically watch the match, but in my house everyone was cheering on either the Reds or the Blues. So the incidental exposure, I suppose, like as in the potential fans it can bring in is huge. But as well as that, you have the representation on a national stage for younger girls and teens to see that, like, you know, they can not only go on and play at that high level like the boys, they can also get recognition for it too. So I suppose in that regard, it's helping on the next generation in a never-ending pattern. So I think it's long term, it's instrumental for the league, and enormous credit has to go to TG Carr for backing it and getting that deal done.
And I'll just touch on this briefly. Noelle Murray, player of the match. Do you think she was a deserving winner?
Yeah, she's some force in that Shelbourne team. I mean, she's a big game player, as they say, and look, they got over the line in the end, and credit to them, because I thought DLR were actually really good. But it's about who gets the ball in the back of the net at the end of the day.
Yeah, it was a great occasion, and being there was a huge crowd. It was amazing. You know, it really felt like a positive step forward. Moving on, then we had another 1-0 win. This one, a little bit of a shock to some, maybe. Galway causing a bit of an upset, beating Wexford Youths 1-0. Seana, I know you've been saying for a while that this Galway team is really going to come into their own. What do you think is inspiring them now? Because I think we're seeing a different side to them.
Yeah, I think they've the right balance of experience and youth, you know, having the kind of experienced players in there, new manager coming in as well, always gives the team a bit of a boost. And they've had a lot going on around the club with the appointment of Ruth Fahey as well. So, you know, I think for them, like, they've always managed to pull results off against the top three. So it was no surprise to me. It was just a matter of which team it would come against. So yeah, I think it was fully deserved, you know, and it's always great to see a young player, like, you know, young players, they don't really have any kind of inhibitions or fear. They step up and kind of just go for it, you know. As an experienced player, you're often thinking in games like that, look, it's 0-0, let's just do the sensible thing here and stay back. But to see a young player strike a ball like that was excellent. So yeah, credit to Galway, and, you know, I think the road ahead is looking a bit more positive for them than it was at the start of the season.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I think it'll be interesting to see them in the cup at the weekend as well, to see if they can, you know, push on to the final. And then we had Athlone Town beating Cork City 2-0. Alanna, now Athlone have kind of leapfrogged Cork City in the table. Do you think that better reflects their entire season being a little bit higher up in the league table? Because I think they've had some really good performances and not been, you know, have been unlucky to not get results. What do you think?
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you there. I think they've really improved throughout the course of the season as well. Given their youth, I suppose that's to be expected. Like Seana saying there, I mean, it can sometimes benefit you, but other times maybe hinder your process. But they've gotten more games under their belt, and they're really exposing that wealth of talent, I suppose, they have in their ranks now, and they really took their opportunity in that 6-pointer over the weekend. Like, I thought Myrne Devani in that side is such a little hidden gem. I think she doesn't really get all the praise she deserves, like, but she orchestrates that midfield, and alongside Leisha O'Hara, I think she played a big part in that win. But from a Cork perspective as well, I think they'll have to recalibrate. Like, they had such a brilliant weekend last time out, so they'll have to wonder where the wheels kind of came off there. But no, it definitely does reflect positively on Athlone's incline over the season.
Yeah, definitely. And then our final game was Sunday's game. We had top of the table versus bottom of the table, and it was ruthless. Peamount beat Treaty United away from home 10-0. Seana, do you think that Peamount have just kicked it up a gear since that 5-0 win over Shelburne. They just seem to be full of confidence and just absolutely, as I said, ruthless.
Yeah, Alice, I think the last time I was talking to you about Peamount was their win over Athlone a while back. And I had said to you that, like, you know, it'd be kind of down to Stephanie kicking into gear. And we've started to see that over the past few weeks. I think she's been instrumental for them in terms of pushing them on, and she's kind of discovered that form that I think they need after kind of Eleanor started the season out so strong and then they lost Eleanor. So yeah, look, unfortunately you don't get to have a bad day against one of the top three. I also think though for Treaty, like Aoife Horgan was such a massive player for them. You know, and I don't like to say kind of any team depend on one player, but for me she was definitely one of the best players in the league. And you know, she had an ability to turn kind of defense into attack on the turn of a coin, you know, and that's kind of players that we've seen it before, from Katie McCabe, Denise O'Sullivan. So I think she's got real star quality, and I do think losing her would have been, you know, a big effect on the team. So yeah, look, it's not great for them, but like I hope they can kind of take the learning experience from it and move on. But yeah, expected from Peamount. They're a fantastic team, and you know, as I said, you just don't have a bad day against them, unfortunately.
Yeah, and okay, so we go into cup action, Evoke.ie FAI Women's Cup action this weekend. We've got 2 semi-finals, Shelburne versus Galway and Peamount versus Wexford Youths. I'd really be interested to hear your predictions. Who do you think we're going to see in the final? Alanna, I'll come to you first.
Yeah, it's some lineup of clashes there at our disposal, but I think I'm actually going to go somewhat against the grain here. I think the youths will have put all their eggs in the cup basket ever since they drifted from let's say, the top 2 of Shells and Peas. So I think they'll have all guns blazing. But yeah, I think I'll actually back them over Peamount narrowly now, but I think they will do it. And on the other side, I know we're saying Galway have had a good run of form, but I think Shelburne are just a notch above them still, just a touch class-wise. And given the determination we saw against them, or from them against Waves at the weekend, I think we'll see them progress to see a Shells Wexford final come Sunday, November 21st.
And Seana, what do you think?
Yeah, I think in terms of the Wexford Peamount game, I just think Peamount are a bit too far off for Wexford to try and catch this season. I'll probably say Peamount to win that game. And then I think it's a toss-up. I'll probably get a smack in the back of the neck off a few of the Shells heads for this, but Galway have always been an Achilles heel for Shells, and they're coming off a 1-0 win. You know, players like Becky Walsh, like they'll know the Noelle Murrays, the Pearl Slatterys from past seasons, Julianne as well. So like they've nothing to lose. So I'm gonna go opposite and say Galway Peamount.
Okay, well, clearly it's not easy to call, but yeah, it'll be very interesting to see. And thanks so much again for coming on and chatting to me about the weekend's action. And I'm sure we'll be chatting again soon. Series 24 will be coming up the week after next, so, or maybe it's the week after that, I can't remember. But thank you again, and I'll see you soon.